Welcome to the Great Australian Road Trip. Explore the past, present and future of Australian locations remotely from the comfort of a custom-made time machine parked in a gallery, library, museum or theatre. Now anyone can explore the landscapes and unique cultures of Australia on a Great Australian Road Trip where gas prices, travel time, hotel bookings and airfares don't matter at all. Explore any part of the country in real time by navigating through your chosen locations, streets and pathways using Google Street View and live street cams. And when you arrive at your destination, you can select past, present or future so that you can discover the history of your location by viewing a curated selection of archival newsreels, documentaries and crowdsourced footage. Watch dramatic recreations of important historical events from the region. Watch ancestral stories of the land as told by Indigenous storytellers. Experience a welcome to country as you arrive. Watch a short introductory video describing the region and outlining key facts about the area, highlighting some of the natural features and things the location is best known for. Meet some of the area's local characters as they introduce themselves to you in a collection of short video clips which will also double as a time capsule for future generations. You might even encounter a celebrity or two describing what it was like growing up in the region. You can even sample the tourist attractions at your chosen location using VR, just by tapping your credit card. And if you have an interest in growing your business in the regions or buying some real estate, this is the perfect way to explore your opportunities before making a decision about investing. For those who are curious about what the future of your chosen region may hold, you can also explore concept art and interactive visualizations based on the local council's development plans and projected private investment. The Great Australian Road Trip puts you in the driver's seat, exploring the landscape, learning the history, and meeting the people of Australia in the most epic road trip of all time, all from the comfort of an air-conditioned car which never leaves the theatre. This installation would be a crowd-pleasing novelty attraction in any film, arts or cultural festival, or for that matter tourist centre, gallery, library, museum or university. Building this project would take an innovative approach to design by combining existing technologies to create an entirely new user experience. The user could remotely travel anywhere in Australia and discover what life is like in other parts of the country in real time, while learning about their chosen region's history and getting a sneak peek of what the region would look like in the future through exploring planning and development concept art. By making research and learning fun and interactive, the user experience would be engaging and entertaining while still being useful and educational. It would also give users the opportunity to gain better cultural understandings of their chosen region or explore commercial opportunities in regions they had previously not considered. This installation is designed to help people who want to explore the country but are short on time or money, or have accessibility issues, or they just want to try before they buy. Some of these audiences could include, but would not be limited to, tourist groups trying to work out where they would like to visit most, according to their available time and budget. High school students on field trips who would also be able to use the installation to do research projects on any location in the world. The installation would support subject studies in history, geology, geography, social studies, environmental studies, and media studies. Indigenous people and groups could research significant historical events on their land. This would include pre-colonial history, traditions, and songlines brought to life through dramatic recreations produced for this project. Researchers such as historians and documentary filmmakers could browse and search through location-specific news clips and documentaries within state library or national film and sound archive collections to find information relevant to the subject that they are studying. They could then pay to download high-resolution clips when they find what they are looking for. Film location scouts and managers could also save time and money by exploring the perfect filming locations in virtual reality, and then check out the practicalities of using surrounding businesses nearby. They could also check traffic, access, flight paths, and other factors to help them decide if a physical trip to the location for further assessment would be valuable. Entrepreneurs and angel investors in local businesses could remotely visit businesses and view their operations to get a sense of how many people are employed there and if their businesses are worth investing in. Property developers and home buyers could take a virtual look around the neighbourhood, inspect other houses on the street, virtually take a walk in the nearby park or up to the shops to see if visiting the property in real life would be worthwhile. The elderly could visit venues with the installations as individuals or as field trip days out with their rest home. They could take turns visiting where they grew up to see how it has changed, or visit places they've always wanted to go, or do activities they've always wanted to try, but will be unlikely to do so within their lifetime. The disabled could also visit terrain with steep hills and mountains, swim under waterfalls, have a skiing, scuba diving or parachuting experience thanks to VR headsets. Immigrants and refugees could find their way around their new neighbourhood to better understand the history of the wider country. And film festival audiences could watch a documentary played from within the installation, and then, after the official screening, view archival news clips and explore the exact locations where the events took place. The Great Australian Roadtrip project will innovate by combining a mix of existing technologies such as GPS-enabled navigation tools, remote camera connections, video library databases, VR technology, paywave tech, and even AI tech to allow real-time multilingual translations. This project would also encourage partnered suppliers to develop additional features for the Roadtrip project, which could then in turn improve the user experience of their own customers. The car's dashboard will also show a readout of the current time, temperature, weather, and other information about the user's selected region, such as population and primary industries. When the installation prototype is proven to be popular and well used, advanced models could incorporate haptic feedback and car body movement. As an example, the user could be virtually experiencing a movie world roller coaster from within the installation, but the car would also rock and roll with each twist and turn corresponding to the visual experience of the user in the roller coaster. In future design and development phases, new user experience concepts utilizing metaverse and AI tech will be researched so that they can be incorporated into the installation's user interface easily, once usability has been tested and proven. One particular feature currently being explored for the Great Australian Roadtrip project is the ability for users to interact with the avatars of other people who are also remotely visiting from other countries and find themselves in the same local VR experience at the same time. This would in effect mean that the installation becomes the equivalent of a metaverse portal. For instance, someone in Canada who is considering visiting Moreton Bay for some real-world whale watching could tap their card on the installation's paywave and pay a small fee to step inside that particular virtual reality experience. Then the user could talk live, in real time with the avatar of someone from a different country, but who is also on the same virtual boat. While inside the virtual reality experience, users could opt in to see facts and information about the whales, their size, their age, and their migration patterns, scrolling on their screen, and discuss what they've learned with each other. With this in mind, it seems there are possibilities for scientists such as marine biologists to internationally collaborate in real time on research projects. There would also be an option for a voice-to-voice ChatGPT style feature, where the user could ask the installation questions about the whales, the region, and the whale watching business, and the installation would reply to them in the user's chosen language. This would also enable the user to find out if the whale watching business might be open to foreign investment, especially as more and more users from around the world start virtually visiting and boosting the passive income of the business. And for those who are interested more in the future of a region than in the past or the present, the Great Australian Roadtrip will look at incorporating a function using Unreal Engine, Blender, and ChatGPT or similar types of technologies to use publicly available planning, investment, and environmental information to create visions of what the region will look like at various points in the future. For this project to provide the best user experience possible, it will require the support of Screen Australia and Screen Queensland, as well as the other state screen agencies, in commissioning the production of video, online and virtual reality interactive content to populate the interactive regional maps. It will also need the financial support of these institutions so that existing archival footage and library collections may be curated and geotagged, then linked to the interactive regional maps. The creative production opportunities would serve the state and region by providing cross-sector benefits and outcomes for tourism, education, tech development, investment, scientific research, as well as culture and heritage preservation. These creative production commissioning opportunities would include content relating to the past, such as short historical documentaries about the geological formation of the area and environmental evolution of flora and fauna, ancestral indigenous and dreamtime stories as told by local tribal storytellers, dramatic recreations of pre-colonial and post-colonial settlement, as well as other significant historical events from the region. There would also be content relating to the present, such as virtual reality capture of tourist attractions, experiences and cultural heritage sites, a welcome to country for each area and tribal region, video introductions from local characters and business owners, a short tour of the town or city highlighting festivals and regular cultural events, the creation of a 2025 time capsule for each town or city, and content relating to the future, such as concept art from a local digital artist, using each location's publicly available information on town planning, investment, and environmental development. The development and application of the Great Australian Roadtrip installation would bring significant cross-sector value to each state and region. The arts sector would benefit from galleries, libraries and museums across Australia, linking their local collections to sites on the digital map, so that wider audiences across the country and internationally could access them. The screen sector would be given a boost as documentaries and dramatic recreations of significant events from Australia's history would be commissioned and produced. Also, organisations like the National Film and Sound Archive would have a significant role in cataloguing archival newsreels by location. The technology sector would also be engaged with developing the software and hardware, enabling virtual reality experiences to be pinned to locations on maps, digitally linking footage and collection libraries, pay-wave technologies so that users could pay for commercial experiences, and linking environmental information from the relevant region. Tourist operators would be encouraged to buy into this project so that their attractions could be promoted across the country as well as internationally, so that users could sample their experiences remotely through VR. Schools and universities would be able to use this installation to teach a variety of subjects. Local heritage buildings and sites would be scanned and preserved digitally so that they could be visited by tourists remotely, even if destructive events such as cyclones and hurricanes made them inaccessible in the future. And scientists would be able to remotely observe local environments, then research and collaborate in real time across the world without too much environmental impact. As examples, while acknowledging that there is far more scope for private investment and applications, this project would invite car company sponsorship for featuring their vehicle as the installation shell, tourism operators to feature their attractions in the VR section, property developers and real estate companies to feature their properties by giving VR tours of houses and property in remote locations, tech company partners to sponsor the project which would feature their branded applications, and accommodation providers to produce VR tours of their motels and hotels so people can plan their real-world road trips inspired by their virtual adventures. When this franchise is picked up internationally, it would serve to create a worldwide network of site-specific interactive, virtual and archival content, where users could access otherwise inaccessible experiences from across the globe. Once installed, the Great Road Trip would effectively become a metaverse portal to this worldwide network of linked, interactive virtual experiences. For instance, you could drive to Egypt and visit the Valley of the Kings, exploring Tutankhamun's tomb, but without the heat, cost, travel time, or queues of people. You could also get an up-close look at the pharaoh for as long as you wanted, without having to stand behind ropes or crowds, while straining for fleeting glimpses lasting only a few moments. Or, if you're into sports, You could drive to any sports stadium in the world and watch famous sports matches throughout history which were held at that particular arena. Each state would be responsible for funding the development, curation and databasing of content, including archival news clips, dramatic reenactments, feature and short documentaries, interviews with local people, tourism items, as well as interactive VR opportunities from each location. Through the Great Road Trip, the disabled, the elderly, low-income people, and those unable to travel for whatever reason would all have access to some of the greatest international experiences the world has to offer. There would be many benefits for those wishing to explore their state, country, or the world using the Great Road Trip franchise. By offering cultural and tourist experiences remotely, with access to galleries, libraries, and museums, it would allow users to go straight to the experience they're most interested in without having spent time and money to get there. Avoid any queues waiting for the experience when they reach the destination. Try lots of different activities in one day rather than having to choose based on travel time and high entry fees. Gain a deeper cultural understanding and awareness of the region's history, and enjoy more interactive and engaging experiences at their local galleries, libraries and museums. The Great Australian Road Trip would benefit communities by providing regional economies with new income streams, promoting destination visibility and regional tourism, encouraging real-world exploration and tourist visits, creating international passive income for featured local businesses, and generating opportunities for local people to learn about their regional history. The good news is that most of the tech for this project already exists, which will minimise development costs. However, integration into a closed network, which would include access to licensed commercial content, will take some additional development. Creating a prototype for testing, including the assembly of a car body, installation of the app, and testing of the tech inside a theatre, would likely incur the following costs. Tech development and licensing equals $80,000. Tech testing equals $40,000. Installation and setup one prototype unit equals $25,000. Content curation and keywording equals $100,000 per state. VR experience capture and production, 5 times 3-minute experiences per state, equals $35,000. Content database management equals $5,000. Marketing and promotion, where user feedback is sought, equals $5,000. User experience testing and updating the app with gathered user feedback equals $10,000. The total amount required to create a prototype where users could access experiences in a gallery, library or museum to a high standard would be $300,000. Many of these costs can be offset through private and public investment for cultural and economic development purposes, as well as in-kind support. Commercial rollout can then be explored, with return on investment to funding agencies negotiable as more cities and states license the intellectual property as well as the assembly blueprints for their own Great Road Trip installations as metaverse portals. Because of the strong potential for national economic and cultural development across a diversity of sectors and the positive outcomes for Australian citizens and residents, any investments from government departments and agencies would inevitably yield good return on investment. Also, not listed here are the private car companies, tech companies, tourism and travel operators, property and real estate developers, as well as accommodation chains, which could also potentially sponsor the development of this project as previously mentioned. This list of potential national, state and local sponsors is available on request via email through matthew.donaldson.workshops@gmail.com. To discuss this proposal further, please contact Matthew Donaldson Workshops. Thank you for your time in considering this proposal.